But let's put the spotlight then on the budget. While we do know that maybe big bang announcements may not be anticipated, what exactly will the street be pleased with, and what is it that we're expecting on the macros? K.K. Mistry is the former VC and CEO at HDFC and now joins us to discuss the budget wish list. Thank you so much, Mr. Mistry, for taking time out. To begin with, given that the government has been very vigilant on the fiscal prudence path, do you think that that will only continue, or that we can expect more populist measures, especially ahead of the elections this time?
No, I'm very confident that fiscal consolidation process will continue. I think the government has done outstandingly well on that front. Even during the peak of the COVID period, we did not go overboard. We did not just keep pumping liquidity into the system like some of the Western countries did, and therefore we did not see the kind of tearaway inflation that they saw. Inflation did increase a little bit in India, but that was more driven by oil prices and a few of the food items. So I think fiscal prudence will very much be there in the finance minister's mind.
Right. Mr. Mistry, experts believe that CapEx growth rate might actually slow down. Do you think it's too early to take the pedal off on CapEx, given the volatile global environment?
No, I do not believe so. I believe I would say there'll be 5 focus areas of the budget, in my opinion. And again, in my opinion, growth will be one of the primary focus areas. India is the fastest growing emerging market in the world. It's the fastest growing large economy in the world, forgetting emerging market. Our growth rate this year, according to RBI, would be, they've increased their target from 6.5% to 7%. And my personal view is that we may end up growing far faster than 7%. And I think the focus will continue to be on growth. If you look at the rest of the emerging market pack in the world, the growth is expected to be about 4%. And if you look at the developed markets, the developed economies, the growth will be much lower. So because of this, India stands out. There are a number of foreign investors who are continuously looking at India. And in my opinion, we really cannot let the pedal go off the growth criteria, because unless there is growth in the economy, growth will create jobs, jobs will create consumption, consumption will keep the economy growing. So I don't think the pedal will go off for growth.
Okay, now reports suggest that the allocation towards affordable housing could potentially increase to 1 lakh crore. Is this a possibility? According to you, do you think that the allocation needs to increase?
Yes, I believe so. You see, one of the facts that we need to look at is employment generation. Employment generation in India is extremely critical. I think the government's done a fabulous job over the years in making sure that there are jobs constantly getting created. And I think that focus will continue, and therefore the encouragement to sectors which create employment generation. And one of the sectors which creates the most amount of employment is housing, and therefore affordable housing. If you recall, I think about 6 or 7 years ago, the government had come out with this CLSS scheme, which had done exceptionally well. Not only did it lead to growth in the economy, it also led to a lot of people being able to afford to buy a house. So I think the allocation towards housing will increase. Not only will it help people, but more importantly, it will help the economy. Housing is a sector which creates a huge multiplier effect on the economy, because there are so many sectors in the economy which depend on housing. Cement, steel, paint, power. Housing creates so many jobs, not just directly but also indirectly in these sectors. So yes, I believe that the allocation to affordable housing should increase.
Sure. But what's your sense on the market borrowings? The street is expecting it to be about 11.9 lakh crore rupees. Given the bond inclusion, do you think the government would see enough interest there?
I would think so, because at the end of the day, you have to match out your fiscal position. So it's without getting into specific numbers on how much the government would borrow and so on and so forth. The fact of the matter is that with the inclusion in the bond index, money will automatically come in. Therefore, the quantum of government borrowing, exact quantum what they will end up doing, is something we'll have to wait and see. But again, in my opinion, the budget will be well balanced. Fiscal prudence will be kept in mind. The inclusion in the bond index will bring in liquidity into India, number one. Number two, it will strengthen the foreign exchange position. We have now the 4th largest forex reserves in the world, and my sense is with this further money coming in, that should further get enhanced.
Appreciate your time, Mr. Mistry. Thank you so much for joining in and sharing with us that take.